It is Paul with LSP Data and LSPLeads. We're focused on smart roofing lead generation. And on this video, I'm continuing the series of breaking down individual cities. So in the last two videos, we saw some cities in Florida, and now I figure I pivot a little bit to Texas. So one of the ones I want to focus on, because it's a market that we're focusing on, is Austin, Texas, right? And just as you can see, we've also added it to we're adding it to our platform, as well as Houston, Fort Worth, and a couple of others as well. And just a quick reminder, what we're doing is that, again, because we're a data company, throughout the last couple of years, we're sort of combining things like real estate data, median household income, code violations, to a certain extent, roof pattern information, and roofing age, construction age, etc., right? And also combining it with historical permit data. So once we marry that information, we get a pretty good idea of what works for that specific city, right? Because again, we focus on niche data. Most of the roofing platforms out there, commercial ones, they may give you a really nice sort of interface with weather pattern and that sort of thing. But however, I don't think they're going as niche as we are, right? And I wanted to kind of highlight a little bit of at a high level, right? Some of the things, like I mentioned, we've sort of married that information to see past trends, past historical data. And that's where I think a lot of you are going to get some value out of this, right? So the main thing here, there's a lot of, outside of single family properties, right? There's a lot of commercial properties being worked on as well, right? Some of the things that we're looking at as well is this type of roofing material as well, right? So it gives you a quick idea of what are being utilized as well. And again, we're providing you with some of the zip codes here as well. Some of the zip codes here, based on the kind of activity as well, right? Those are the ones that in the last couple of years have been more active. And just as a quick kind of takeaway here is most of the properties that are being targeted are at least, I believe 39 to 50 years. So again, every market is different, right? Some places like in Florida or even to a certain extent Houston may also be cyclical because of weather patterns, right? There are some observations as well here in Austin for hail and other things as well, right? When it comes to demographics, right, there's also some rentals as well. The part here that I guess some of the takeaway here as well is that there are tenants that a lot of times may complain about leakage or the roof caving in, etc. So that's why sometimes we consider that as an absentee owner, in which the primary homeowner doesn't live there, right? And then there are situations as well, like there's some historical information from February 2021 for storm damage, right? There are some fire damages, and obviously, depending on the type of work, that may require a lot more investment, right? Again, Austin is known for sustainability as well, so there are also opportunities for solar and whatnot, right? But the main thing here is some of the, like I mentioned, one of the things that we looked at in the past to ensure that the homeowner has the funding to do repairs is we're trying to also correlate that with property, like how it is appraised as well. So this may give you a pretty good indication of some of the zip codes that you may want to target as well, or do some marketing as well. So anyways, for us, like I mentioned, we're trying to pull information from the permit data and code violations, and then we're trying to determine if there's any correlation, which in this case there are some. And again, that's part of our secret sauce of how we're determining these areas, right? So if you are a customer in the future, right, you'll be able to access this and easily draw, like let's say you have a door knocking team, right, or sales team. You'll be able to just easily go here and dig into that particular property as for opportunity. The other thing as well, what I wanted to do as a takeaway for you, if you are that roofing contractor who owns a company, right, there are possibly pulling data, right? Property information as well, especially if you don't have a lot of data like we do. At least by watching this video, you get a little bit of takeaway of maybe which properties you can market to, right? Even like I said, sending your guys to a specific zip code, maybe doing a little bit of door knocking or leaving your business card as well, right? Here's some of the things that may be helpful as well. Like I said, Austin does have in some areas hail damage, right? So you can maybe look historically if there has been hail and a type of storm, hail damage, and an older roof, right? That's a really good combination of a homeowner that may need that assistance, right? And again, there are things as well that there are, some of the flat roofs over 15 years old are pretty good as well. Don't miss out on the commercial ones as well, because those tend to be very obviously higher payout. And again, for us, cities of Austin, just like Miami, just like Houston and another ones, they do enforce violations, right? So there is a code violation with Austin, I believe it's 60 days that a homeowner needs to basically address that issue, right? Some of the indicators that we focus on, again, is those code violations as well. If there's a lot of trees around, especially after wind or storms in general, there is those potential opportunities as well. And again, I think one thing I'm going to start doing, if you're interested, I'm going to start adding some of these reports, observation reports, as a download, so that way you don't have to read all this wall of text, but I can provide this as a form. So that way, again, I like to provide value here, right? And kind of show you what are we looking at, right? Like I said, we put all our data together, right? And then from there, we can see some of those trends, and that help us basically come up with our own formula to be able to provide, why do we think that this is a good lead source, right? I made a couple of other videos about some of how are we coming up with those lead scores, right? And again, they're very tailored to a specific city. So even if you sign up for a zip code in Houston, another one in Dallas, another one in Miami, in Tampa, right? Everything is going to be niche to that specific market, because what we don't want to do, again, is just provide you a list of weather patterns that, it's great, but if you're not combining it with other data sets, right, it's not going to be helpful. And again, like I always like to remind anyone, right, we don't generate leads. We identify homeowners who already need a roof, or in this case, maybe outdated, or they may have some sort of violations pending, right? Or maybe they replaced their roof about 15, 20 years ago, and the type of roofing material that they have, basically requires replacement. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. But again, thank you for watching, and I'll start adding this information as part of a download, right? And yeah, I think there is a lot of really good information here that you can take away. Again, we like to look for specific keywords. We like to look for specific trends. At the moment, we're also implementing AI as well. And the way that we're using this local model, what we're trying to do as well is help you identify even additional work, right? So sometimes a lot of you may have your own roofing company, but you're also doing gutter work. Maybe you have another team, or your business partner or someone else who's doing a little bit of landscape as well, right? And with this, sometimes we get very descriptive. So we're using this reasoning model to also come up with other additional opportunities. Again, because some of those violations may not only be one violation, it may include multiple ones, right? And as well as sometimes the neighborhood themselves raise complaints, and usually people are very descriptive, right? They may say that no one's throwing out the trash, there's junk in the backyard. Maybe they may say, hey, there's a tree that fell on the back porch or something similar, right? So anyways, a lot of descriptions that we're capture, and again, we're implementing some of that AI model to identify additional work. So that way in the future is a good opportunity for you to upsell that as part of your package, right, with that homeowner. But anyways, I'll leave it at that, but hope you got tons of value from this video, and stay tuned for more.